3, 2, 1.
High in the Andes, where the thin air cuts sharp against the lungs and the clouds themselves seem to drift lazily among the peaks, lies a fortress, or perhaps a temple, or perhaps something far stranger. Sacsayhuaman. Its very name rolls across the tongue like the whisper of a shaman's chant, echoing through time. To stand before its walls is to feel as though one has stepped into a dream shaped from stone, a puzzle carved by hands that may have belonged to men, gods, or beings whose memory lingers only in the shadow of myth. Sacsayhuaman is not simply a ruin, it is a riddle in rock. The stones that make its walls do not merely rest upon each other, they cling to one another with a kind of intimacy, like lovers who know no separation. You cannot slip even the thinnest blade of grass between them. Some rise as high as a man, others tower over him, weighing as much as a mountain's fragment torn loose. They are cut, shaped, fitted, not with mortar, not with cement, but with a perfection that feels more like sorcery than skill. And when you ask, who built this? The wind answers with silence. The chronicles speak of the Inca, the empire of the sun, whose reach stretched across deserts, jungles, and mountains. Yet even among them, stories are told of giants who once moved these stones, of thunder gods who commanded the earth, of ancestors who had secrets of the stars. The walls stand massive and unyielding and invite you to wonder whether they were built by men or by myths made real. The city of Cusco, once the radiant heart of the Inca Empire, sprawls below Sacsayhuaman like a tapestry of red rooftops. To the Inca, Cusco was not merely a capital. It was the navel of the world, the center of creation itself. And high above this cosmic center, Sacsayhuaman crowned the hills, an eagle's nest overlooking the realm. The Spanish called it a fortress. They saw ramparts, towers, and defensive walls. To them, Sacsayhuaman was a place of war, a citadel meant to guard the empire. But the Inca, or perhaps those who came before them, seemed to have seen it differently. To them, it was sacred, a place where ceremonies touched the heavens. In Quechua, the language of the Andes, its name is often said to mean satisfied falcon, or perhaps speckled head, a riddle of language mirroring the riddle of its stones. From above, Sacsayhuaman resembles the jagged teeth of a great puma, and Cusco itself was said to have been designed in the shape of that very animal. The city was the body, Sacsayhuaman its head. To walk here is to walk in a living map of myth, a city shaped like a sacred beast, crowned by a citadel of stone. But when you stand among the walls, something else happens. The ordinary world falls away. Each stone feels alive, humming with a presence. The walls curve and bend, zigzagging like lightning frozen in rock. Some blocks are so large they rival modern trucks. Others are cut in shapes with 12, even 16 angles, each one fitted into its neighbors as though the stone itself melted and was poured into place. No chisel marks remain, no mortar holds them. And yet they endure, unmoved, across earthquakes, across centuries, across empires. It is said that when the earth trembles, when the mountains shake, the city below crumbles. But Sacsayhuaman stands. The stones shift, they lean, but they do not fall. They know one another too well, bound together in a unity more enduring than the breath of time. The Inca, when asked about the walls, offered stories that stretched beyond history. They spoke of giants who once walked the Andes, beings taller than men, with the strength to move stones that no ordinary mortal could budge. These giants, it was said, labored under the command of the first gods, fashioning the great walls before vanishing into legend. Another tale tells of Viracocha, the great creator god, who summoned his servants to carve the earth. Viracocha was said to have shaped the world after a great flood, creating humanity anew. Did he perhaps set his hand upon these stones? Did his followers, luminous beings of divine origin, cut and fit them as easily as clay? To the Spanish chroniclers, these stories were pagan fantasies. They sought explanations that fit their worldview, perhaps slaves, perhaps thousands of workers, chiseling and dragging the blocks with ropes and ramps. Yet even they admitted that some stones were so massive that their transport seemed beyond belief. And so the myths linger. Perhaps they are not simply tales, but echoes of memory. For across the world, from Egypt to Easter Island, from Baalbek to Cusco, stories abound of giants, of gods, of ancestors who moved stones as though they weighed no more than feathers. Was Sacsayhuaman part of this same mysterious tradition, a global memory of something now forgotten? To look at Sacsayhuaman is to see more than walls. It is to glimpse a geometry that defies the ordinary. The stones are not simply rectangular, they are polygons of impossible precision, each angle cut to fit into another like the pieces of a puzzle designed by the cosmos itself. Why build this way? Why not stack simple blocks as so many other cultures did? Some say it was to withstand earthquakes, and indeed the design has survived where others have fallen. But others whisper of deeper purposes, that the walls are not merely functional but symbolic, embodying patterns of the universe itself. The zigzagging lines of the walls are said to represent lightning, the sacred strike of the sky god. The layout mirrors the teeth of the puma, Cusco's sacred animal. Some see constellations traced in stone, alignments with the solstices, connections with the stars. Stand at Sacsayhuaman during Inti Raymi, the festival of the sun, and you feel it. The walls come alive with ritual. The people gather dressed in the radiant colors of the Andes, reenacting ceremonies that echo back to the time of the Inca. Drums thunder, conch shells wail, dancers turn like the stars themselves. And you realize, Sacsayhuaman was not only stone, it was stage, temple, cosmos. It was a mirror of the universe built upon the earth. There is a saying in the Andes, the stones are alive. To Western ears, it may sound like metaphor, but in the highlands of Peru, it is more than poetry. Stones are beings with spirits, with voices. And so when you walk among the walls of Sacsayhuaman, you are not walking through ruins. You are walking through a conversation. Each block leans into the next. Each joint whispers its secret to its neighbor. They are not dead matter, but living presences, keepers of memory. Perhaps this is why the fit is so perfect. Not because of some lost technology, but because those who built them understood the stones as companions, not obstacles. They listened. They felt the grain, the weight, the shape. They coaxed the stone into harmony, rather than forcing it into obedience. Yet still the question lingers, how are such massive stones moved? Some suggest rolling logs, ramps, and human strength. Others imagine ropes made of llama hide, pulleys carved from wood. But when you stand before a stone weighing 100 tons, cut with angles as sharp as crystal, and realize it was hauled from quarries miles away, you begin to wonder, could there have been another force at play? Sound perhaps? Vibration? The mysterious power of resonance, known to shamans and hinted at in myths of levitating stones. The stones of Sacsayhuaman do not answer directly, but they do not deny it either. When the Spanish came, they saw in Sacsayhuaman both wonder and threat. During the siege of Cusco in 1536, it became the battlefield where Inca warriors made their final stand. The fortress that the Spanish had dismissed as merely ceremonial proved to be a citadel of defiance. Blood was spilled upon the stones, arrows and fire rained down, and still the walls endured. After the conquest, the Spaniards dismantled much of Sacsayhuaman, prying its stones to build their churches and mansions in Cusco. What remains today is but a fraction of its former glory. Yet the largest stones, too massive to move, remain untouched, as though even conquest bowed before them. In time, silence settled over the site. The rituals were suppressed, the myths dismissed as superstition, but the walls remained, brooding, watching, waiting. And now, centuries later, people return to them not only as tourists but as seekers. To stand before Sacsayhuaman is to stand before a question carved in stone. Who built it? How did they do it? Why did they shape the walls in patterns of lightning and beasts? Why do the stones fit with such uncanny perfection? Archaeology offers answers. The Inca, skilled engineers, patient workers, ingenious in stonecraft. Myth offers others, giants, gods, forgotten civilizations. And somewhere between them lies a mystery that refuses to yield. Perhaps the walls are meant to be just that, a riddle, not a solution. For riddles keep the spirit awake. They remind us that the world is deeper than what we measure, older than what we record, stranger than what we believe. And so Sacsayhuaman endures, not merely as a ruin but as a guardian of mystery. Its stones are the pages of a book we cannot fully read, but whose presence we feel. They are the bones of the earth, shaped into a song we half remember. When the sun sets over the Andes and the sky turns gold, the walls glow as if lit from within. Shadows stretch across the zigzagging stones. The city below breathes, the mountains rise eternal. And in that moment, you understand, Sacsayhuaman is not only a place, it is a question. It is a legend written in stone, a legend that waits for you to listen.